Who?
What?
This doesn't make sense.
What should I do?
Huh?
I'm just going to ask Pastor Jeremy.
Hey, welcome to Ask Pastor Jeremy. Today we are asking the question, is it a sin to cremate someone or is it okay? And so as we ask this question, we need to think through the ethic of how to treat a body as the perspective of a Christian. And so there are varying opinions upon this, even within the conservative theological world. And here's my brief take, and then I'll explain it. Basically, I think that it is not a sin to cremate a body, but I would prefer cremation not take place. Not as a sin issue, but more of an issue of honoring the body. The consensus amongst most Christian traditions is that cremation should be forbidden. That is really part of the Christian tradition, that Christians did not cremate. Timothy George, the great professor at Beeson Divinity School in Alabama, he said, while the weight of Christian tradition clearly favors burial, the Bible nowhere explicitly condemns creation. And I would tend to agree with that. I mean, ultimately, your body is a vehicle that is driving around your soul, which makes you who you are, created in the image of God. So I don't think it's a sin. Now, when it comes to the actual cremation of the body, some people say, well, when we have the bodily resurrection, how does cremation take place within that? Well, I think that if you just think this through, and I think this is pretty logical, that if God can create us, create woman out of man's rib, then God can take a bunch of ashes and poof, put them together and recreate your body. So I'm not really too worried about that. What my bigger concern is about honoring you as a person when you die. And I think that just a part of that process of honoring someone in their death is putting them in that casket and actually even physically seeing the body lowered down into the ground, I think is just a time of honoring and remembering someone. So again, just as a reiteration, it's more of a preference that I would prefer somebody to not be cremated for the sake of honor and not for the sake of avoidance of sin. 2 Corinthians 5, 6, and 8, and then Philippians 1:23, it talks about being absent from the body, being present with the Lord. And so we know that ultimately your soul is what makes you who you are, and your body is not, even though while we are on earth, we are supposed to treat our bodies as the temple of God. So if you're pondering whether or not you should be cremated, or if you have a loved one that is nearing death and you're just saying, should we cremate this person or not? I would encourage you to not cremate the person, but if you decide to do it, it's not a sin. Hope this helps. Hope you check back in next week. Do you have questions? Email them to pastor@brushycreek.org or use the hashtag online, Ask Pastor Jeremy. See ya.